Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Securing the Smart Cities, bringing Canadian innovation and Saudi Vision 2022 together. My name is John Menezes. I'm the president and CEO of Stratagem. We're a Bell Canada company located in Toronto, and we are the largest managed security services company in Canada. We have 500 employees and $300 million in revenue. And the reason I'm throwing out these numbers is not to, impress you, but to give you some idea of the scale of organizations and criticality of networks that we are working with. So IT, OT, IoT are things that we're doing every day. I myself have been in the industry for over 30 years. Matter of fact, I've been in the cybersecurity business before it was called cybersecurity. And what we've seen in cybersecurity, it is such a dynamic environment that even after 30 years of being in this business, I still don't know everything. And believe me, AI in the last 2 years has totally thrown cybersecurity on its ear. So everything we did before, we have to go back to the drawing board and do things all over again. So it's a very fascinating space. And I keep telling my team that what we did yesterday is not what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Okay. So what's the vision for smart cities? The vision for smart cities is a safe, secure, efficient, environmentally friendly environment. Okay? So by 2050, you're going to have more than 70% of the urban population in cities. So smart cities are going to be very important because we need to be more efficient, we need to be more effective, and that's how we're going to make this work. And when we talk about the effects of smart cities, it's going to be in transportation, it's going to be in healthcare, it's going to be critical infrastructure. So when I'm in Toronto and I'm driving from my home to my office, it takes me an hour. And I'm always wondering, if we had smart systems in place, maybe my commute would be a lot faster. Yesterday I was in Riyadh, and it took me an hour and a half, and I'm thinking, Riyadh could use with some of the smart city stuff as well, so to improve the traffic flow. So it's a very interesting space. So when you build everything smart, that means it's connected to the internet. Okay? And the moment you connect anything to the internet, you're in trouble. Okay? So when we talk about cybersecurity, everybody pays lip service to cybersecurity. But all these folks developing smart cities, they're thinking of everything but cybersecurity. And that is a major challenge for all of us. So once we go to smart cities, what are we going to do? We're going to expand the threat surface. What does that mean? Today, in an enterprise, in a city, you might have 10,000 devices that are connected to the internet. With smart cities, that number is going to go to 10 million. So the attack surface is going to be quite dramatic. You're going to have all these devices in your environment that are subject to attack. And then you have all these threats: identity, ransomware. 15 years ago, North America, Toronto, Ontario, New York, all went dark. We were dark for 12 hours. And we're lucky that that was caused by a system malfunction. Now just imagine if a hacker got into your grid, your smart grid, and took the grid down. It's a huge threat. And then when you build these IoT, nobody's thinking about cybersecurity. They're thinking about, I have to have the best camera, the major pixels. I need to have face recognition. I need to do all these things. Nobody's thinking about cybersecurity. So all these IoT devices that are coming out are not secure. And there's no compliance, there's no regulation on IoT, and every day you're finding new devices coming out that are not secure that you're entering. So we're building smart cities, we're building smart homes, but there's no cybersecurity. For cybersecurity, the first thing that we need to worry about is asset visibility. Okay? Remember I talked about 5,000 devices or 10,000 devices versus 10 million, 5 million devices. We cannot secure these devices if we don't know where they are. You know, I come from Bell Canada. We have the largest network in Canada, one of the most complex, complicated. But even if I go to my team and say, hey, you know, how many assets do we have? We don't have a good answer. So if you don't have a good answer on the number of assets you have, how are you going to protect it? So the first thing we have to do is we've got to know what your assets are. So asset inventory is very important. Then we've got to do more about proactive. The days of, you know, finding something bad and then taking weeks to fix it are gone. We have to fix things in minutes and in seconds. And then finally, we've got to bridge the gap between IT, which we all know, information technology, OT, which is operational technology that is running our grids, running our transportation systems, and then we've got IoT, which is everywhere. Everything connected to the internet is IoT. So we've got to start thinking about all these systems working together, or else we're not going to be able to build any smart city of the future. Integration and automation, the path forward. Something that Stratejm has done and has been doing for the last 9 years is we have built some of the most sophisticated integrated systems that enable us to automate stuff. And automation is the key, because if we are going to respond to threats in minutes, it has to be automated. You cannot do it manually. It has to be automated. So our security as a service, which we launched 9 years ago, allows enterprises, allows municipalities, allows governments to secure environments, large, complex environments, very easily. So what does security service do for you? We're breaking down the silos. So we don't have IT separate from OT, from IoT. We're breaking down all the silos so we can defend the environment as one infrastructure. We want streamlined security operations. You can't have one SOC looking after the IT side and one SOC looking after the OT side. A, it's not practical, and B, you don't have any people. Today, there's 30% of the global jobs in cybersecurity are unfilled. Why? There's nobody there. You know, we're having problems in Canada finding people. I'm sure you're having problems here in Saudi finding people as well. And you have to be proactive. And this is one of the key things you've got to look at. This is something that Stratejm is doing very well. You have to be proactive. You cannot wait for the hackers to come after you and then defend yourself. You have to make sure you make it as difficult as possible for the hackers to get in. And when the hackers do get in, you have to detect them very quickly and shut them down. So you have to adopt a very proactive stance when you're looking at cybersecurity. And the adaptive security framework. So we've been building our security service on this framework designed by Gartner, which is the cybersecurity mesh architecture. It's flexible, and it's agile, and it allows you to adapt to situations as they occur. Nozomi Networks, I don't normally talk about product when I'm doing these presentations, because I'm basically product agnostic, okay? But the reason I bring up Nozomi is because Nozomi has been doing IoT and OT for many years. So it's doing IoT and OT when the concept of securing IoT and OT wasn't on everybody's mind. So they have really have a very mature solution that we have integrated into our security as a service. And one of the first things they do is visibility. IT, OT, IoT. So gives us the visibility that we need. Then it's proactive in their threat management. And it's purpose-built. Okay. So we have the tools, but we also have the services and the ability to implement the tools in an efficient way possible. So the case study for Nozomi is very simple. Ransomware, identity challenges, hackers getting into your smart environment. The key thing is we can't stop the hacker from getting in. You know, if we could stop the hacker from getting in, you know, we'd all be fantastic. You know, we had no issues whatsoever. And for 20 years, as cybersecurity professionals, that's what we did. You know, we sold you a firewall and we said, hey, you know what? You got a firewall, you're safe now, nothing's going to happen to you. Those days have changed. The hackers are going to get into your network. The hackers are already there. The question is, once they start their malicious activity, how quickly can you detect it? And once you've detected it, how quickly can you shut them down? And that is the main thing that we want to do in cybersecurity today. So, you know, we're talking about Nozomi. I give you a real example of a Canadian company, that Superior Plus. They operate both in Canada and the United States. They deliver propane and heating oil. So they're a very rich, $3-4 billion company, very rich. They bought all sorts of tools. You know, they go to the Gartner Magic Quadrant and everything in the top right, they buy that and buy 2 of each. But what happens is you can buy the tools, but if you don't integrate the tools to work as a cooperative ecosystem, then the tools are useless. So Superior Plus was one of these companies, bought lots of tools, could not make the tools work, could not get the value for the tools investments they've made. And so they came to Strategem. And what we've done for them is we've taken the tools that they have, we've integrated it all into our cybersecurity mesh architecture, and then through the automation, we're able to stop the threats. And so we've taken an investment that they had, and we delivered value for them. And that's the key thing that we're looking at. You know, it's easy to buy tools, but you have to make them work, and you have to make them work efficiently, and you have to automate them, and you have to integrate them. And if you don't automate and integrate them, you can't be proactive in your threat management. You know, how do you future-proof the smart cities? You're going to have adaptive, scalable cybersecurity frameworks, like the cybersecurity mesh architecture that Strategem has been using for the last 9 years. You know, I finally talk about AI. You have to use AI. Okay, you have to use AI for machine learning, because there is so much of data coming at you. If you have millions and millions of IoT, OT, IT devices spewing data, telemetry coming at you, there's no easy way. There's no easy way to look at the data. There's no manual way of looking at the data. So you have to use AI. And this is a great use case for AI, because AI can detect, and then AI can help you respond. So we are building a resilience against emerging cyber threats. So this is what we've got to focus on when we're looking at building smart cities. Canada and Saudi Arabia, we're great friends. You know, we're both large oil-producing nations. We're both large mining nations. You know, so there are amazing opportunities to collaborate. You know, we're doing amazing stuff in the oil and gas sector in Alberta. We can do the same thing out here in Saudi. So there's an opportunity to exchange information. And what Strategem wants to do is we want to build the largest security operations center in Riyadh that is going to support all the cybersecurity initiatives that the government has announced and wants organizations and enterprises to do. So we want to do that. We want to also develop region-specific frameworks for Saudi and also for the GCC. So what cybersecurity frameworks can be developed that applies to the region? And finally, we want to promote local talent. So Stratagem wants to set up a training school here in Riyadh to feed our security operations. So we'll make sure that we can train Saudis. We have a lot of Saudis living in Canada, studying in Canada, that we want to train them in Canada, we want to train them out here. So we have this great partnership between Saudi Arabia and Canada. So we're here at our booth. We're on hall 3, we're at 190, I think is all the way down there. We'd love to come, if you can come and visit us. We can show you some of the amazing cybersecurity mesh architecture, containing threats in under 5 minutes. So, we're just down. I don't know if anybody has any questions, but please follow us on LinkedIn. It'll be great. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have a great time.